Pepper from my-colorado-kitchen.com. Today we're going to be making some peanut butter balls. We're going to start by taking 1 tablespoon of butter and we're going to add it to the bowl of our stand mixer. Next, we're going to take 2 cups of peanut butter. I highly recommend that you use natural peanut butter, so peanut butter that just has peanuts and then some salt in it. Don't get the ones that have extra added sugar. It's not necessary. We'll do 2 cups of peanut butter. These peanut butter balls were born out of my son wanting some homemade candy. So I decided to try our hand at making these peanut butter balls so he could have some homemade candy. If you guys like from scratch recipes using real ingredients, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I post new recipes each week. Once that peanut butter and that butter is in our mixing bowl, we're just gonna add that to the stand mixer with the paddle attachment here. And we'll mix those 2 together. I love this mixer. It's a digital mixer, so I'm just gonna put it on the mix function just to let it mix together nicely. But obviously you just wanna do this for a few minutes to let it mix best for you. After that's mixed up nicely, we're just going to add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And we're just gonna let it mix again. That one doesn't need to be long. It's just until it's nice and incorporated in that peanut butter batter. And then this is what it's going to look like at this point. So it's just all nice and creamy in there. And then we're going to do 1 pound of powdered sugar, which is a 16-ounce bag. I love to use organic powdered sugar. I get mine either at Thrive Market or like my local Sprouts, but usually 1 pound is 1 bag, so it makes it nice and easy. And we're just gonna pour that in. I'm only gonna pour in a little bit and then I'll add more as the mixer is going just to make sure I don't get that big poof when I'm mixing it up. You guys, I'm making a mess here. Your dough when mixing will be a little bit dry to start because of that powdered sugar has got to incorporate with that peanut butter. But then as it keeps mixing, it will keep getting more moist and then come together kind of like a cookie dough was what we're looking for. Once it's done mixing, it's like that cookie dough consistency, then you're ready to start rolling these into balls. So you can do any one number of things. I like to use a plate to put these on, and then I just put parchment paper over my plate. The reason I'm using a plate instead of like a cookie sheet to roll these out on is because I don't have a whole lot of room in my fridge, and this plate just makes it easier to slide in my fridge when we're going to chill these after rolling them all up. So each layer, you're just gonna wanna put another parchment paper in between. We're trying to roll these in about 1-inch balls. They should not stick to your hands. Depending on how big you make these, they will make about 36 to 40 peanut butter balls, but that's obviously up to you on the size of them. This would be a great time for you to grab your kids and have them help. I know when I made these with my son the first time, this was actually his favorite part. This is a big recipe, and I suppose you could half it if you wanted to, but these peanut butter balls, when they're all made, they stay in the freezer for about 3 months, and you can use them, pull them out for a snack, or use them as a quick last-minute gift if you need to. They make great gifts for the holidays, just to give neighbors, friends. You could use a 1 tablespoon cookie scoop if you wanted to scoop these out and make them very even. I'm just not doing that. I'm gonna skip that step so that I can just grab them and roll them. To troubleshoot your dough, if your dough is too runny, add more powdered sugar. If for some reason, because I know that good natural peanut butter, sometimes the bottom of that jar, it gets a little dry, so if you're using a jar that's half used, then sometimes it's dry at the end, and you need a little bit more moisture to make this batter work, then just add a little bit of cream and it will loosen it a little bit back up and then be perfect for these peanut butter balls. After these are all rolled up, we are going to put them in the fridge for about 30 to 60 minutes. If you're in a super big hurry, sure, throw them in the freezer, and that way they are nice and hardened before we dip them in hot chocolate. You need to make sure that you freeze these or put these in the fridge so that way they are cold. Otherwise, they'll just become a huge mess once we put them in that chocolate, and we need them to hold up in that ball shape. So let them sit for 30 to 60 minutes in that fridge, and then we'll come back and we'll dip them in chocolate. And once those chocolate peanut butter balls have chilled long enough, we're going to add water to a double boiler, and then we're gonna add our chocolate in to get it nice and melty. You can add like a teaspoon of coconut oil in with that chocolate just to make it a little bit thinner and easier to coat those peanut butter balls. And once that chocolate is melted, we're gonna grab our peanut butter balls from the fridge and we're going to dip them in the chocolate. We're just gonna use a fork for this. We're gonna roll the balls around in the chocolate. We're gonna let the chocolate drizzle off of that fork, and then we're gonna lay them on a sheet of parchment paper. You're just going to repeat with all of those peanut butter balls until they are all gone and covered in chocolate. You'll just add more chocolate chips to your double boiler as necessary until they're all covered. And once you have all of those chocolate balls dipped, then you can add some sprinkles to it. I love to use these sprinkles that have no artificial dyes in them. You can just put some on top. You want to make sure that you're doing this when they are still wet, which is pretty easy to do because that chocolate takes a while to harden up. So add some sprinkles if you want. One of my favorite things to add is some sea salt. I love to add just some big flakes of flaky sea salt. Just really adds to these peanut butter balls. If it's Christmas time, you could certainly add some for Christmas, some Christmas sprinkles. I'll link some of my favorites in the description below. You do want to make sure that you wait until these are fully dry before you get them off of that parchment paper. They will be a mess if you don't. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you like these peanut butter balls. I hope there's something that is fun for your holidays or just whenever you want like a sweet treat. If you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and then hit that bell so you never miss a recipe. For the full principal recipe details, I'll post those in the description below, or they're on my website at my-colorado-kitchen.com. From my kitchen to yours. Happy cooking!